If you are a Black American watching this, the math gets ugly before you finish your morning coffee. The average retiree needs about $4,800 a month to live modestly in this country. The average Social Security check pays $1,500. That is a $3,000 shortfall every single month, before rent, before groceries, before the Costco run that used to feel like a deal. Racial fatigue, endless inflation, a political climate recently called Jim Crow 2.0. How many Black retirees are finally realizing they feel safer and richer outside the United States? 10 countries in 2026 are practically begging Black retirees to move. Not for your dollars, but for who you are. If you have a pension, we want you. A $1,500 Social Security check that rents a 2-bedroom near the ocean. A welcoming culture where you stop being the diversity quota and start being the neighbor. Country number 9 literally hands you a coupon book just for getting older. Stay until country number 1. That one lets your Social Security rent near the Atlantic, hands you universal European healthcare for under $100 a month, and has an African diaspora community in its capital that goes back generations. Let us count down. Kenya. You walked through a city, caught a cab, ate at a street vendor, and for once you were the default, not the diversity quota. That is a regular Tuesday in Nairobi, where 99% of the population looks like you. The pathway is the Class K Ordinary Residence Permit. Age 35 minimum, 45 and up preferred. Proof of guaranteed annual income of $24,000, about $2,000 a month, from pension, dividends, or another passive source. Issuance fee around $1,875 a year. Processing 2 to 3 months through the online EFNS portal. In 2026, Nairobi runs about $950 a month for a single expat. Mombasa on the coast drops that to $390 to $560. Both English and Swahili are official, so banking and doctors and forms all work in English. Nairobi is nicknamed Silicon Savannah. M-Pesa, mobile money, runs above 80% penetration. The World Bank ranks Kenya among the top reformers in East Africa for ease of doing business. Kenya now requires Americans to apply for an electronic travel authorization online before entry, separate from your Class K permit. The $24,000 annual income puts Kenya at the borderline of small pension. If your only check is Social Security at $1,400, this may not be your easiest door. And infrastructure outside the 2 main cities runs inconsistent. One viewer who lived there warned about corruption. Visit first. A growing community of African Americans is already relocating here. One person put it plainly behind him. I am retiring to East Africa once I retire from trucking. I cannot wait to get up out of toxic America. Tax peace. Kenya and the United States have no comprehensive tax treaty as of 2026. Foreign tax credits soften the math, but call a cross-border CPA before you fly. Number 9 opens with the most generous coupon book any retirement visa on Earth has ever offered. Panama. Panama is the discount program country, the country that practically looked at retirees and said, "Come here, bring your pension, let us not make this harder than it needs to be." The visa is the pensionado, minimum $1,000 a month in lifetime pension income, or $750 if you own real estate in Panama valued at over $100,000. Add $250 per dependent. That is the lowest visa threshold on this entire list. And here is the part no other country on Earth does. Panama hands you a literal coupon book for getting older. 50% off movies and entertainment, 25% off airlines, 20% off doctor visits, 15% off hospital bills, discounts on utilities, restaurants, even property taxes. When a country writes that level of discount into national law, that is a country literally begging. Panama uses the US dollar, officially called the Balboa, pegged 1-to-1. No conversion fees. Your Social Security arrives and spends exactly how you expect. Panama has the largest visible Black population on this list outside Africa itself. Afro-Panamanian communities in Panama City, Colón, Bocas del Toro, along the Caribbean coast, descendants of West Indians who built the Panama Canal. One Black American retiree in Panama City said, "I am not the Black guy from America here. I am just another neighbor who happens to speak English." There is now a dedicated organization called Black Expats in Panama, documenting over 40 families relocated from the United States with help from one community organizer the network calls Charlotte, the Harriet Tubman. That is an actual mutual aid network already in place. In 2026, a single pensioner lives comfortably on $1,400 to $2,500 a month. Outside Panama City, Boquete, Coronado, David, costs drop further. Houses in Boquete rent for as little as $800 a month. Panama City private hospitals rival Miami without the soul-crushing bills. Doctor visits often $40 to $60. Now, the catch, small but honest. Panama is two countries in one. Urban districts alongside laid-back mountain towns and rougher neighborhoods. Choose wisely. The tropical heat is real. Tax piece with an important correction. Panama uses a territorial tax system, so your U.S. pension is not taxed in Panama. The U.S. still taxes your worldwide income. That is the IRS reality. But Panama and the United States have no comprehensive tax treaty and no tax information exchange agreement either. Your toolkit is the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion and Foreign Tax Credits with a cross-border CPA. Number 8 gives you something Panama cannot: English as the official language. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Until the next adventure. Belize. Belize is the country that decided English would be the language of your retirement and the Caribbean would be the backyard. The visa is the QRP, Qualified Retirement Program. Requirement: $2,000 a month in foreign retirement income paid in approved currency. Applicants must be 40 or older. In return, residency, tax exemption on foreign income, duty-free imports of household goods, and one vehicle. Let us be honest. The QRP fits better for retirees on the higher end of the small pension category. If your Social Security check is closer to $1,000 alone, Belize may smile politely and say, "That is cute, bring backup." But for someone with Social Security plus a small pension adding up to $2,000 or more, Belize becomes realistic. In 2026, outside the Postcard Islands, the Cayo District inland, parts of Corozal, $1,200 to $1,800 a month covers rent, groceries, utilities, transport. On Ambergris Key or Placencia, that jumps fast because Paradise charges rent. Belize has the Garifuna, descendants of African and indigenous Caribbean people with their own language, drumming, food, and history. UNESCO recognized Garifuna language, dance, and music as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity in 2001. Two villages worth naming. Hopkins Village on the southeast coast is a small Garifuna community known for traditional drumming. Dangriga, just up the coast, is the spiritual capital of Belize's Garifuna people. Healthcare in Belize is fine for everyday needs. Doctor visits often cost less than a US cable bill. But for major surgery, many retirees fly to Mexico or back to the United States. Many Black expats in Belize have told visiting journalists the same thing. In Belize, they say, you stop being a Black American and just become a neighbor. Tax piece. QRP holders pay zero Belize tax on foreign income. But the US side keeps taxing your worldwide income. Belize and the US have no comprehensive tax treaty. Foreign earned income exclusion and foreign tax credits are your defense. Number 7 is where cultural connection stops being a side benefit and becomes the entire reason you move.
Ghana. Ghana is the country that looked Black America in the eye and said, "Come home," and meant it loud enough that thousands of people actually showed up. President Nana Akufo-Addo said it plainly during the 2019 Year of Return campaign. "We are not just inviting you to visit, we are inviting you to come home." The campaign worked. International arrivals reached 1.13 million by the end of 2019, up 27%. Travel Noir reported the Year of Return brought more than $1.9 billion into the Ghanaian economy. Ghana's right of abode under Immigration Act 2000 gives Black diaspora permanent legal status to live and work in Ghana indefinitely. The catch? It requires 7 years of residence first, 2 of them continuous. The official fee is about $300 in 2026. The realistic starter for retirees is the standard residence permit, renewed yearly, building toward right of abode. In 2026, a single expat in Accra lives modestly on $245 to $1,225 a month, depending on neighborhood. Outside Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, Takoradi, that drops to $800 to $1,500. Cape Coast and Elmina are not just tourist stops. For many in the diaspora, those places feel like standing inside a history book that forgot to ask permission before breaking your heart. But Ghana does not only represent pain, it also represents return, rebuilding, and possibility. Many returnees describe a sentiment heard often at Cape Coast community gatherings. For the first time in their lives, they say, they are not carrying the weight of being Black. They are just people. Ghana's bureaucracy moves slowly. Power cuts happen. Infrastructure outside major cities is a work in progress. And the catch most diaspora content skips. In 2015, a land dispute between locals and the diaspora at Fihankra, an early diaspora settlement, resulted in the murder of 2 African-American women. NPR covered the ongoing tensions in 2024. The lesson is not to avoid Ghana. The lesson is to use a vetted local attorney, never buy land on a handshake, and verify title with the Lands Commission before you sign. Ghana and the United States have no comprehensive tax treaty. Foreign tax credits usually soften the blow. Number 6 opens the wallet because the Philippines built a retirement visa that starts at $800 pension income and has a U.S. Veterans Affairs clinic in the capital. Philippines. The Philippines is the country that says your money could be breathing easier over here, right? For Black retirees on a small pension, that is not a small thing. The visa is the SRRV, Special Resident Retiree Visa. For age 50 and up with a monthly pension, the minimum is $800 single or $1,000 for a couple, plus a $15,000 deposit in a Philippine bank that you can convert into a condo investment after a few years. Without a pension at 50 plus, the deposit jumps to $30,000. The visa never expires. That $800 pension floor is the lowest income threshold on this entire list. For Black male veterans, the Philippines has the only U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs facility in a foreign country. The Manila VA Outpatient Clinic at 1501 Rojas Boulevard, Pasay City. Important eligibility detail most videos skip. The Manila VA provides care primarily for service-connected disabilities, not unlimited care like a stateside VA hospital. Specialties include mental health for PTSD and anxiety, neurology for Parkinson's and MS, and ophthalmology. If you have a service-connected rating and you are tired of the stateside VA queue, Manila is the country with the door literally open. In 2026, places like Cebu, Dumaguete, Iloilo, parts of Metro Manila, $1,000 to $1,500 a month covers rent, food, transport. One viewer who has lived in Cebu for over 15 years reports a two-story, two-bedroom house under $200 a month. Private hospitals in Manila and Cebu are modern. Doctor visits often $15 to $40. One American expat put it bluntly, "In the Philippines, I get world-class healthcare without the world-class debt." Now, the catch. The Philippines is not for Black retirees seeking ancestral or Afro-Caribbean cultural connection. That is not what this country offers. It offers affordability, English everywhere, healthcare, and kindness. Weather can include typhoons June through November. SRRV holders get tax-exempt treatment on pension and Social Security remitted into the Philippines. The U.S.-Philippines Tax Treaty has been in force since 1976, so coordinating usually means no double taxation. That is rare on this list. Number 5 gives you a brand new 2026 tax break almost no one is talking about yet. Uruguay. Uruguay is the quiet, boring, grown-up country that your retirement portfolio will actually respect. It does not dance for tourists. Uruguay is small and not heavily multicultural. Many Black expats report being treated with polite neutrality rather than suspicion. You are foreign first, Black second, which in 2026 is already a step forward. It is not Ghana. It is not Panama. It is a country that mostly leaves you alone, and that is its gift. The visa is the rentista, requiring $1,500 a month in passive income from outside Uruguay, $2,500 for couples. Permanent residency is granted from day one, no temporary phase. And here is the news that just dropped in January 2026. Under Budget Law N 20.446, the Tax Holiday 2.0 went live, giving new tax residents a 10-year exemption on foreign source capital income. The catch most articles skip: full exemption now requires a minimum $2 million investment. Otherwise, residents pay 12% tax on foreign capital income. Pension and Social Security are not investment income, so retirees on Social Security only generally stay exempt. But talk to a Uruguayan tax advisor. Hidden advantage. While there is no comprehensive U.S.-Uruguay income tax treaty, Uruguay does have a totalization agreement with the United States that prevents double Social Security taxation. For a retiree on Social Security only, that is a quiet but real win. Uruguay is not the cheapest country here, and that is exactly why it works. $1,500 to $2,200 a month covers a comfortable life outside Montevideo's trendy neighborhoods. You are paying for reliability, not bargain basement. Healthcare quietly flexes. Uruguay has a universal system and private clinics that rival Europe at a fraction of the price. Many expats pay $100 to $150 a month for comprehensive coverage. One American expat in Montevideo said, "I pay less for healthcare here than I did in the United States, and I actually see doctors instead of bills." The catch: real winters, Spanish-only daily life. But after decades of U.S. financial chaos, boring might be the new luxury. Uruguay is the country you stay in for 20 years, not 2. Number 4 is where Afro-Latin culture, mountain healthcare, and one of the most viral stories in our comments all walk into the same room.
Colombia. Colombia is where the retirement conversation gets serious. This country does not just offer cheap living, it offers a full lifestyle. Big cities, mountain views, Caribbean coastlines, coffee towns, and fresh fruit that tastes like it actually had a childhood. The pensionado visa requires monthly pension income of at least 3 times the Colombian minimum wage. With the 2026 minimum wage raised by 23% to 1,750,905 pesos. 3 times that is about $1,382 per month. Decree 1469 of December 29, 2025 made it official. One person said, "I moved to Santa Marta, Colombia from Atlanta in 2018. Santa Marta is a small beach town on the Caribbean Sea. I had a huge Airbnb that cost $250 a month. I got the retirement visa, good for 3 years. Beautiful city with a very good bus system, everything in walking distance. I was there for 2 years and was able to accumulate $7,000 in my bank account living on Social Security alone. That is a real Black American on Social Security, banking $7,000 in 2 years in a beach city on the Caribbean." Colombia has the 4th largest Afro-descendant population in the Western Hemisphere, after Brazil, Haiti, and the United States. Considerable Afro-Colombian populations concentrate in Cali, Cartagena, Buenaventura, Barranquilla, and the Pacific Coast. That is millions of people, generations deep, with political representation in Congress. Cali is where the Afro-Colombian cultural concentration is highest. The city has salsa in its bloodstream. Medellin is the modern city. Strong transit, mild weather, mountain setting. But popularity drives rents up. The coffee region, Pereira, Armenia, Manizales, is the quieter cousin who owns land, minds business, sleeps better at night. Healthcare in major Colombian cities is strong. Trained doctors, modern hospitals, private care often much more affordable than in the United States. Colombia is not one country. It is dozens of micro-countries. Some neighborhoods are wonderful, some are not. One viewer wrote, "The murder, crime, and civil wars in Colombia is a no-go." That voice is real and worth hearing. Tax piece. Colombia and the US have no comprehensive income tax treaty and no totalization agreement either. Coordinate Social Security with a cross-border CPA. Number 3 pays your retirement in US dollars and has the cheapest healthcare on this list. Ecuador. Ecuador is the country that makes a small pension sit up straighter and say, "Wait a minute, I might actually be somebody over here." Because Ecuador uses the US dollar. No mental math at the grocery store, no waking up broke because a politician sneezed. The visa is the jubilado. It requires $1,446 a month in pension income, exactly 3 times the 2026 Salario Básico Unificado of $482. Add $250 per dependent. Qualifying income includes U.S. Social Security retirement, military pensions, federal, state, local government pensions, corporate defined benefit pensions, structured annuities. Visa valid 2 years, renewable once, with a clear path to permanent residency and eventually citizenship. In Cuenca, Loja, or parts of Quito, many expats live comfortably on $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Math shock from the comments. A $1,500 Social Security check in the United States covers maybe rent in a middle-market city. In Cuenca, that same $1,500 covers rent, groceries, utilities, transport, doctors, and breathing room. Healthcare in Ecuador becomes a cheat code. Private doctor visits often cost less than a US copay. MRI scans cost what Americans pay for aspirin. Private insurance for retirees often runs under $100 a month. One American expat said, "I stopped delaying medical care here because I can actually afford to be healthy." Ecuador may not be Ghana for ancestral return, but there are Afro-Ecuadorian communities, especially in Esmeraldas province on the Pacific coast and the Chota Valley in the highlands. The catch: Ecuador is not uniform. Infrastructure varies wildly. One town might have fiber internet and modern hospitals. Another might have potholes and power cuts. This is a research-first country. Ecuador taxes residents on local income, generally not foreign pensions. There is no comprehensive U.S.-Ecuador tax treaty, though the two countries signed a tax information exchange agreement in April 2021. Quick comment debate, because the data so far has been heavy. Drop in the comments, would you rather live cheaper somewhere your money breathes, or stay in a country your ancestors built? Pinned, and I will read every single one. Number 2 is the country that abolished its army in 1948 and turned peace into a retirement policy. Costa Rica. Costa Rica is for the retiree who is tired of chaos. Not just tired in the "I need a vacation" way, but tired in the "I have spent decades working and listening to politicians argue while my grocery receipt looks like a mortgage statement" kind of way. Costa Rica turned peace into a retirement policy. The Pensionado visa requires proof of $1,000 a month in lifetime pension income. No minimum age. Many Americans qualify on Social Security alone. The $1,000 floor is tied with Panama for the lowest pension visa requirement on this entire list. Costa Rica abolished its standing army in 1948, over 75 years ago, written into Article 12 of the Constitution. President José Figueres Ferrer said it plainly: "What a country needs is not more arms, but more schools." The money that would have funded tanks funds teachers and clinics. That is exactly why retirees feel safer here than in many richer nations. In 2026, beach towns are expensive. Paradise charges rent. In the Central Valley and smaller inland cities, $1,300 to $1,800 a month covers rent, food, transportation, and healthcare contributions. On Costa Rica's Caribbean coast, around Puerto Limón, there is a strong Afro-Caribbean population. More than 100,000 descendants of African workers who arrived on the coast in the 19th century to build the railroad. You hear patois English. You eat rice and beans cooked in coconut milk. You hear reggae and calypso. Many older locals still speak Creole English, real named Anchor. Devin and Lavanson Austin are featured on theblackexpat.com as African-American retirees who relocated to Costa Rica. Their interview details cost adjustments, healthcare experience, neighborhood choice in the Central Valley, and how the local Caribbean culture made cultural connection easier than they expected. That is a documented Black couple with a name, a city, and a story. Healthcare is Costa Rica's biggest flex. The public CCSS system is available to residents. Hospitals in San Jose look like U.S. medical centers without the U.S. billing department. One Black retiree in the Central Valley said, "I get better care here than I ever did in the States, and I do not dread the bills." The catch: choose your community. Smart retirees pick the Central Valley around San Jose or Guanacaste, where expat networks and English-speaking doctors make life easier. Tax piece. Costa Rica and the U.S. have no comprehensive income tax treaty, though a tax information exchange agreement was signed in 2018. Before we get to country number 1, quick favor. If you have made it this far, you are clearly doing your retirement homework. Hit that subscribe button, because country number 1 lets your Social Security rent near the Atlantic, hands you universal European healthcare for under $100 a month, and has an African diaspora community in its capital that goes back generations. Portugal. Portugal is the country that retired, went to therapy, started drinking espresso slowly, and decided peace was more important than impressing people. For Black retirees on a small pension, Portugal offers something extraordinary: a chance to experience Europe without millionaire money, and African diaspora communities that have been here for generations. The visa is the D7. €920 a month in passive income as of January 1st, 2026, about $1,000 equal to the Portuguese national minimum wage. Add 50% for a spouse, 30% per child. Once approved, residency, access to the Universal Serviço Nacional de Saúde, and a path to permanent residency or citizenship after 5 years. In 2026, outside Lisbon and the Algarve, both rented out until prices stopped being affordable, many retirees live on $1,300 to $1,800 a month in smaller cities like Coimbra, Braga, Évora, Aveiro, or Leiria. How deep is African diaspora in Lisbon? In concrete numbers, 65,507 Cape Verdeans hold legal Portuguese residency, the 5th largest foreign nationality. Broader estimates including descendants range from 100,000 to 200,000. Add 179,524 Angolans counted in the most recent census. That is 30-plus-year communities with restaurants, churches, music scenes, mutual aid networks, and political representation. Portugal runs a universal healthcare system that residents can use. Many expats pay under $100 a month for excellent private insurance on top. One Black American in Porto said, "In Portugal, I do not fear getting sick anymore. I fear going back to the United States." Honest update for 2026 retirees, because audience Tier 2 will catch it if I skip it. Portugal's famous non-habitual resident tax regime, the one that exempted most foreign pension income for 10 years, ended for new applicants in late 2024. The replacement, called IFICI, targets researchers, not retirees. So if you move to Portugal as a new retiree in 2026, your pension and Social Security face standard progressive Portuguese tax rates on top of U.S. worldwide tax. The good news: the U.S.-Portugal tax treaty since 1995 still lets your CPA coordinate. That comprehensive treaty is rare on this list. The tax math just is not the bargain it was 5 years ago. Lisbon and Algarve rents have exploded. Smart retirees move to smaller towns where locals still live. Portuguese bureaucracy moves like it is paid by the hour, and it is. Portugal earns number 1 because it delivers every promise a small pension is searching for. Lowest visa threshold in Europe. Universal healthcare that costs less than your US copay. The deepest African diaspora community on this list outside Africa itself. An active US tax treaty. And it is Europe. Atlantic sunsets, walkable cities, fresh food, public transport that works. A small pension may not make you rich in Portugal, but it can give you European safety, European healthcare, European institutions at a price your Social Security check actually understands. Drop the country that just got promoted to your shortlist after this video, and the one that just got deleted. I am pinning, reading, and may build a full deep dive on the top 3 from your comments. Because retirement should not mean choosing between rent, medicine, and dignity. Pick the country where your dollar stretches, your color is celebrated, and your peace is finally affordable. If this opened your eyes, the next video to watch is the breakdown of US FATCA and IRS rules for Americans retiring abroad, because the visa is the easy part. Taxes are the part that catches people off guard. There's now a video on the screen you can check out. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.